Hello, this is Brian Keefe, who is running for our Boston City Council District 7. We're here to ask him two questions on Boston Public Schools. So the first question is, what do you believe is the current state of the Boston Public Schools? A, what grade would you give it now? And B, what grade would you give them when Marty Walsh started 4 years ago?
Well, I think the state of Boston Public Schools is a school system that's in transition. With regards to their grade, I think to give someone a grade, you have to have all the answers. And I wouldn't claim to have all the answers and have all the solutions to all the problems that are ailing Boston Public. That being said, there are some glaring issues that we definitely need to work on. Um, Transportation is one of them, and I'll discuss that later. But also, how we define success. Right now I think we're focused too heavily on what it has been for so many years, which is a 4 or 2 year path to college. That's not for everyone. I ended up taking that route, and I was one of the lucky ones who graduated in 2005 with only $80,000 in debt. You know, I've been fortunate, and I've been able to, make my monthly student payments over this time period. But that's not the path for everyone, and we shouldn't put someone in a position to focus on a career that they can't necessarily afford, or a career that can't necessarily support them. We have to ensure that we're putting kids in a position to succeed, and we're supporting them in their needs and the direction that they want to go. And not every direction that a child wants to go is a 2 or 4 year path to college.
Right. So the second question is, what specifically are you going to do to improve them? How many schools are you going to visit? What programs would you add or subtract? And how much money, if any, do you think the schools need?
With regards to money, I think right now the school system has a budget of about $1 billion. The way I see it, give me $1 billion and 50,000 students, I can teach them. I think the problem is what we have is inefficiencies in that budget. We've got what we're working on, and what we've noticed as the biggest issue is transportation, where with $1 billion budget, we're spending 1/10 of that on transportation, about $115 million. I read an article just the other day in the Globe that talked about um, efficiencies, creating efficiencies, and through those efficiencies, they're able to save $5 million. You know, I think that's kind of a joke because those efficiencies are what they've always done in order to save or create efficiencies, which is cut routes and fire people. What we're talking about is actually, we're calling it transportation transformation. That's a working title. Don't hold me to it. But what it is incorporating ride sharing into the transportation system of the Boston Public Schools, thereby using smaller vehicles as opposed to the large school buses, where right now sometimes we're carrying 5 kids over long distances on a large school bus. That's inefficient. But if we could look at those lesser traveled routes, incorporate ride sharing using vetted and quarried drivers, we could save money by sending a Prius or something like that on those routes, making multiple stops at different schools, being a lot more efficient. Reducing costs on maintenance, and the savings that we realize, we could then reinvest right back into the schools. So I think when we talk about letting people go and cutting routes and saving $5 million, I think that that's a drop in the bucket, and I think that we should be striving for a little bit more than that.
All right, well, thank you. This is Brian Keefe, who is running for Boston City Council District 7.
Thank you.